Last week was the second media available OTA for the Houston Texans, and people were commenting on what they saw out of CJ Stroud, who was working with the first team unit, had a nice throw downfield to Nico Collins, seemed to be going through his progressions. Again, it's all in shorts. And I want to get excited about CJ Stroud, but I have to be consistent with my take on every single young quarterback that we've seen enter the NFL since I started covering the league for a living. Young quarterback is probably not going to be what you want him to be. It's a safe assumption to make. You're seeing a lot of great things from Stroud in OTA practices, but it's OTAs. You're hearing a lot of great things about what CJ Stroud is. That story about him asking Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, about a specific type of coverage that he went up against. Like, that's a great story to hear, but I will just caution you to be very, very wary of how excited you're getting. We've gotten excited about guys like Zach Wilson in OTAs before, Johnny Manziel based off of a pro day. Remember, this is in shorts and there's no pressure. But you are hearing good things about CJ Stroud. Gerard Johnson, former Texas A&M quarterback, is now the quarterback coach of the Houston Texans. Good dude. Taught me how to run a 40-yard dash in a 0.2 seconds quicker just by changing my stance up. Here is what Gerard Johnson had to say about what he's doing with, a less important task, helping CJ Stroud out during OTAs.
We just want to be, comfortable and confident in what we're asking him to do. We just want him to be the best version of himself, and so that's what the spring is about, is all these guys getting reps and learning the system and just kind of feeling confident about how they play the game, how they operate in our system, just so we can get out of the spring with a good base.
So a lot of generic stuff there, right? That's the kind of stuff I actually want to hear from Ryans and offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick and from Gerard Johnson. But Gerard's known CJ Stroud for a while, and I think that connection that they've had for a while is probably making him really believe that Stroud's got a lot to work with at this moment in time.
Yeah, I met CJ at a young age. I think that's out there, and so just to meet him at 17 and then to go through the draft process with all the other quarterbacks and see him now as an adult, as a mature kid who's been through a lot on the field, off the field, just to see the man he's become, it's good to have that reference point, man, but I'm excited for his future.
We'll see what the two are able to do together. Again, I'm just telling you, put it in the waistband. You want to slow down to temper your excitement. I know not everybody is buying in, but I think a lot of us are just so damn desperate for good things to happen in this organization that we are already falling for it. And just remember, people were buying into Davis Mills hype at times over the last 2 years.
See, I think that proves why people are so excited about CJ Stroud. It's because before that, the last young quarterback we had to be excited about was Davis Mills, which involved a lot of talking yourself into him. Whereas this, it's easy to talk yourself into CJ Stroud. He was like the consensus number 2 pick the entire time.
Second overall pick. It makes so much sense to talk yourself into it. Don't yet. Don't. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, be excited, but don't be like the saviors here. Just be excited for to watch a young player who has a chance to develop to something special.
Great comment from Baliner_02, twitch.tv/ESPN975. I see CJ as like a Dak, a good to great starting QB you could do a lot worse than. Big difference is, I think, though, that Dak was a 4th-round pick. So everything you get, it's found money. With Stroud, you're expecting him to make a massive difference. And then factor in the Will Anderson trade, which some people have spun. Well, actually, the Texans traded up for CJ Stroud. They didn't, but okay, whatever you got to tell yourself, there's more attached to this one. There is. Todd the Show comments, it's not easy to convince yourself that an Ohio State quarterback can be good. Yeah, with Justin Fields, I think a lot of people are starting to buy into his hype. And while I like to watch Justin Fields, I don't know that means he is a good quarterback.
Also, like, what were the great Michigan quarterbacks before Tom Brady? How'd that affect Tom
Fair
Brady?
point.
What were the great Tennessee quarterbacks before Peyton Manning? It's like, that is the stupidest thing to
I don't
me.
know, though, Sean.
It's so stupid.
What about the USC quarterback thing?
That's also stupid.
It's not. It's a fact.
It's stupid.
Carson Palmer's the only decent one. They have had first-round pick after first-round pick from Todd Marinovich.
What about Wisconsin quarterbacks?
What about Bo Callahan?
What about NC State quarterbacks? They're all a bunch of bad ones. And
Texas
Phillip
Tech
Rivers.
quarterbacks. Okay, fine.
There's
fine.
a bunch of like it's so stupid.
Fine.
They're like you said, Paul. Most of these guys don't work out, so most of these schools do not have a good track record with quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's such good logic.
Oklahoma quarterbacks.
Stop. I get it. Stop.
They all won the Heisman.
You're running up the score. Thank you. Yeah, someone commented Texas Tech before Patrick Mahomes. Yep.
Stanford quarterbacks. John Elway, Andrew Luck, Davis Mills.
Stop. Don't ever put those three in the same sentence again.
I'm just saying it works in reverse too.
Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. My bad. CJ Stroud was also doing an interview with Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry works at NBC Sports now. I'm not the biggest Matthew Berry fan. Story I can't share on the air. Anyway, he was a little creepy with a friend of mine. This is a story that Stroud shared with Berry about all of the pre-draft BS that he dealt with, specifically the leaked S2 test score and some other things that did seem to paint Stroud in a bad light.
It's not the first time things have came out about me, so I'm not saying I'm used to it in a sense, but I kind of am. It's just, it is what it is, and I'm not going to try to control the narrative. And I know it was from an inside source somewhere where they were hating on me or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, I'm powered through God, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, everything happens for a reason, and I'm a Texan, so it really didn't matter anyway.
No, it didn't at all. And, smart guy once told me pressure's a privilege. Right?
For sure.
Pressure's a
Guys
privilege.
like us in our position, we want pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah, my team, we weren't worried at all. We were actually kind of relaxed the whole time. At least I was. And I heard nothing but great things from teams. I didn't hear anything negative, really. So
it was more like just social BS,
yeah,
which is great.
The people who aren't making the picks had the most to say. So
Well, I mean, right. And you went number 2 overall in the NFL draft. I'd say you're winning, right?
it's a blessing, yeah.
Very religious. You can hear that from Stroud along the way, and very annoying. Matthew Berry, thanks for the pressure is privilege commentary.
I like how he framed that as someone once told him that, that's not like a saying that's in on a poster in every high school weight room in America.
This is probably something that Matthew Berry heard from a writer. I think he was in the writing of a television show.
He wrote Crocodile Dundee 2, I want to say.
I don't know if it was that.
He wrote one of the Crocodile Dundee movies.
Like oh, yikes. Okay. Well, here's also remember how it was kind of controversial that CJ Stroud modeled his game after Michael Vick? This does not help out the CJ Stroud emulating Michael Vick. You know, if you're a little bit wary of that, just listen to what he had to say about Michael Vick.
I love Falcons Vick, but I really was pretty young when he was playing for them. So my favorite Michael Vick was the Eagles.
Sure.
Where he was throwing the ball really, really well. So yeah, people always kind of get them. But I modeled my game after him in a sense, but it was really his passing style. Like, he had a cannon that nobody really gave him credit for.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't, I know I can't run like him, and I don't think he can throw like me, but
very few people in the world can run like him.
100%.
Yeah.
So, it's probably been 3 of them now. I feel like Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson are probably the only 2 right now in the league that can run like him. But, yeah, man, it was more so like an inspiration thing that he just inspired me as a kid just to want to be a NFL quarterback.
I think it's interesting that he's talking about Eagles Vick. So Dog Killer Vick was inspired.
I respect it because he alludes I was too young for for Falcons Vick, because Vick went to prison 07, right?
Yeah.
And so CJ Stroud would have been 7 when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't think he was watching many peak Michael Vick Falcons games when he was 4 and 5 years old.
But he was inspired by Dog Killer Vick. How do the dog people feel about that?
I won't say anything about this.
I'm just saying he was inspired by that one.
Also, this also is very funny because in the NBA Finals game last night, they mentioned how Jokic's favorite. Do you remember this? They
No.
talked about who Jokic talked about like loving as a kid.
Who?
NBA player, Tracy McGrady. Because he was like, yeah, big guy, could do all that stuff. Like a guy who was 6'8", 6'9", could dribble and stuff. And it's just so funny that Nikola Jokic was like, man, I love Tracy McGrady. And then he turned into Nikola Jokic, like a guy who plays nothing like Tracy McGrady.
Maybe he learned what not to do from Tracy McGrady.
It's just funny. It's like, who have you modeled your game after? And they always just say like their favorite player, even though it's like it does. He also Nikola Jokic joked with the NBA TV people. Shaq asked him, or no, I think Charles asked him who he modeled his game after, and he said Shaq, which is another guy who he just doesn't play like.
Not at all.
It's just you're just saying guys that you liked when you were a kid, and you're like, oh yeah, I modeled my game after Michael Vick, and you mean one of the fastest quarterbacks ever to play? Yeah, not so much that part, just
he had a cannon, like the one
throwing the
specific thing
ball
he brings
far.
up. Yeah, he could throw it far. That's literally the only similarity between the two of them. But hey, there you go.